Today we're going to walk through Papillion Fire's new training facility. It's been a project that's been in the works for a few years. It took a few years to plan. Funding, that process takes a few years. Site prep took over a year, but today it is completed and it'll be in service here in the next 2 weeks. And today we're gonna walk through and take a look and see what everything's about. This site really worked out on a lot of different levels. Not only is it a commercial area, the building, it doesn't look out of place here. Public Works has a great facility. They did agree to give the fire department access to some of their property, and ultimately that's where we ended up here. But it is kind of central to our entire response area. So if I have a crew at any one of the stations that wants to come down here and do this training, they're still in their respective city that they cover. This is a pretty good site in the middle of our response area. So this is the container where we can actually start fires in and have firefighters advance hose through a room that's on fire. This here is called the manger. This is where we load the fire products. Typically what we're gonna use is pallets, just commercial pallets, hay, OSB. So we load this up in different ways, and it's pretty scientific actually, depending on how we load it, is how much energy or heat we could put out into this room. So getting it really scientific and loading it up with a certain amount of fuel and then having the heat sensing equipment will allow us to train at the temperature that we want to train at, but remain at a safe level, not damage our equipment. So that kind of concludes the firebox there. We're gonna head this way to my left and we'll just take a walk through the first floor of the actual building prop itself. You can see it tries to be as realistic as possible. There's normal size entry doors, places where windows would normally be in a house or building. Now they look a little different for training. That's just to be sturdy and to keep the weather out when we're not using it, but we try to make it look like an actual building. So this is the entrance to the first floor into the building prop itself. Part of the cost of building something like this is to put in the drainage system. So if you look at the floor is a false floor. So no matter how much water we put in, it'll drain right out. This facility is brand new. We haven't done much in modification, but the plan is over time is to actually bring furniture in here as we collect it and make it more realistic. This is the bigger of the rooms as you come in. What's nice about this is the track system, and you can see what's hanging there are actually wall sections. These rooms are configurable so that we can change the layout of the walls in here. As we train over and over, crews can become familiar with where things are, and it makes the scenario easy for them. That's not really what we want as trainers. And in the real world, when you go into a structure that you've never been in, you're not gonna be familiar at all. So it's just a nice little feature that we can change the inside so that they actually have to use their techniques and not just be able to search it from memory. So stairs are a big thing for firefighters on the interior of a building that's on fire. So as heat builds up, heat is gonna rise, right? The place that it's gonna rise is up a stairwell. So firefighters moving from the first floor to the second floor are gonna have to go through what we call a thermal imbalance where they're gonna take heat. So this training site, one of the most valuable things that is gonna allow us to do is to train flow water while moving up and down stairs. We're gonna move from the first floor to the second floor. The second floor is square feet wise, just as big as the first floor, about 1,200 square feet. Again, set up into different rooms. So here's a good simulation of a hallway. As we're advancing hose, think about zero visibility. And that means, really, you can't see anything. Not like, hey, it's a little hard to see. Think about shutting your eyes and having to move around, wear 40 or 50 pounds, and then have to pull something that weighs a few hundred pounds. The second floor here is a little more walled off than the first floor, but that's typical if you think about a 2-story house, right? The first floor is gonna be a nice open family room, kitchen, living room. But as you get upstairs, second floors in residentials tend to be a little more walled off, right? You have bedrooms, narrow hallways. We wanted to design it to look like that, so that's why you'll see smaller rooms and more walls here on the second floor. Now, most residential houses aren't gonna have a third floor. This training prop does have a third floor. We have so many apartment buildings that we really thought it was necessary to at least have a third story on our training prop. The third floor is a little bit smaller, but this is where we start to get into some of the specialized features that we paid for. One of the specialized features that we wanted to have, because we have so many apartment buildings in our response area, is a balcony prop. As you look at apartments, they're known for their balconies, and we can just straight up rappel off this too if we wanted to. We've built this building to allow us to do some of the dangerous skills, but in that safe environment where we're tied off with rope so that we can't fall. So a basic skill that firefighters perform is called ventilation, and that's really just the act of releasing any toxic or hot gases out of a building that's on fire. We had a roof prop built into this, and that's what we're looking at here. Roofs come in a variety of different styles. Commercial is a flat roof, but the more dangerous are a pitched roof, which is what this is, and that just means the roof is at an angle. What we're gonna do as firefighters is we're gonna wanna release, like I said, the toxic gas and smoke that's heated. So the only way to do that is to cut a hole in it. And the best tool to do that is a chainsaw. So you can imagine standing on a pitched roof on an angle with a 20-pound air pack on your back, which changes your center of gravity, it changes your balance point, and then having to operate that chainsaw as smoke and heated gases come out of it. A dangerous skill again, which is why we need a dedicated prop to practice that in safe conditions, and that's what this prop is. There's the cut area here where we can cut it. It's meant to be cut. After it's cut, we just replace this part of it and do it again. There is a fourth floor. It's not, the top of it isn't a part of the building per se, it's more of a roof prop. We have some specialized parts of the building up there to help us with some technical rescue. We'll walk up there and take a look at them. Right at the top of the stairs, one of the special features that we have here, you'll notice a cover. And what you have is a designed entry, a confined space entry. Imagine a rail car or a tanker truck. We needed to have a way to incorporate that into the training, and that's what we've done here. But on top here, this fourth story basically gives us the ability to do some rappelling, some rope rescue, lowering victims, what we call pick-offs. So if you remember the balcony prop that we had, we may be, instead of bringing the ladder, if we can't get a ladder to them, we may come to the roof ourselves, lower a firefighter down to them, attach them to the rope, and then lower the victim all the way to the ground. We have the ability to do that here, but this is a fabricated anchor point, a very safe anchor point. And they have a basic rappel station here. Imagine me in my technical rescue gear and in my harness with a rope system on, attached to the anchor point here. I can just open this gate, and then I'm ready to do a straight rappel. It's nice to be able to do it safely. So the ventilation prop here, we entered it from the structure earlier and we were standing next to it, but what's nice about it on the other side here is that it's accessible from the street. So in the parking lot, the truck will be parked, the ladder will raise, they'll swing it over to the roof, the firefighters will traverse the ladder, mount the roof, and help the interior firefighters that are trying to make their way to the fire. We are so excited for this training site to open up. The amount of support and pride that it brings to this community and the members of this fire department is incredible.